All right, guys, we are going to be reacting to Germany builds up its military to prepare for a potential future without the United States. Thank you so much for the support, guys. I'm going to simply react to this to see what's going on. Let's see.
Has ramped up his criticism of Germany's leader after Chancellor Friedrich Merz said the United States had been humiliated by Iran. In a post on Truth Social, the president told Merz to, quote, spend more time on ending the war with Russia-Ukraine, where he has been totally ineffective, and fixing his broken country. Despite Trump's rhetoric and repeated threats to withdraw the U.S. from NATO, Germany's top military officer claims relations with American military leaders are as strong as ever. But he also says the threat from Russia means Germany's push to strengthen its own armed forces is a race against time. Special correspondent Malcolm Brabant reports from Germany.
In Marienburg, in former East Germany near the Czech border, the country's newest recruits perform a last-minute drill before their passing out parade. For some, the army offered a path out of unemployment. Others were motivated by Ukraine's resistance against Russia. For security reasons, they only gave their first names.
My personal view is that I owe a lot to this country. For education, the health system, and I would call myself a patriot.
Of course, I think I'm a little bit concerned, but I'm not really afraid that Russia will attack us or...
Okay, you need to get out. Yeah, you cannot have people like this in the military. You know, you go to the military, it's gonna be for potential. If you go to the military, is to understand that there's always the potential to be in conflict.
A war will break out, because I think it's more like a warning or a wake-up call for us.
Marching alongside Marienburg's town band, the 371st Mechanized Infantry Battalion will become the tip of NATO's defensive spear. They can expect to be deployed to Lithuania to strengthen the alliance's eastern flank. If the German government gets its way, passing out parades are going to be a far more frequent occurrence. The German Chancellor, Friedrich Merz, has said he'll do whatever it takes to make sure that Germany is war-ready by 2029. He's boosted defense spending to make sure that by the end of the decade, Germany will have the strongest military force in Europe. This footage from the Bundeswehr, or Federal Armed Forces, shows mechanized infantry training to defend the West against Russian aggression.
How dangerous would you say this particular period is?
I'm now in the military since 42 years, and I must say I've never experienced such a dangerous situation like we are having it at the moment.
Interesting.
The clock is ticking.
General Carsten Breuer is Germany's most senior military officer, in charge of the Bundeswehr, comprising the Army, Navy and Air Force.
Russia is rebuilding their forces. We see that the Russian personnel, military personnel, is going up to 1.6 million soldiers. So what we see is a restructuring of the Russian military, and it's all directing against the West.
Increasing the pace of Germany's rearmament has become more urgent after President Trump reiterated his dismay over America's NATO allies' refusal to join the war against Iran.
We spend hundreds of billions of dollars a year on NATO, hundreds of protecting them. And we would have always been there for them, but now based on their actions, I guess we don't have to be, do we?
Jesus.
While Germany's relationship with the White House may be turbulent, according to General Breuer, connections with his American counterparts are secure.
Are there any breaks in military relations? Definitely not. They are as good as in former times.
It's just politics,
totally
so
clear, and we also understand.
So basically, what you see on the outside is more like politics, basically.
That we have to take over more responsibility for our own security.
Germany's rearmament alarms the nation's teenagers. 18-year-old males are now required to declare whether they're willing to serve. Fears that compulsory conscription will follow are driving widespread school strikes and marches.
I don't want to fight in a war for Germany. I don't want to die for Germany. I don't want to kill for Germany.
The anti-war rhetoric of author and podcaster Ole Newman
Yo,
has
this is
turned him
crazy.
into a national figurehead.
The state doesn't care whether people want to fight or not. It's just forcing its citizens to. And this is, in my opinion, the most important argument against fighting for your country.
Stroll through the German capital.
Yeah, that's a weak argument, in my opinion. Like, you have a country, you have to defend it. How are you going to defend your country? How? You think countries are defended by angels and magic? Like physical barriers, magical barriers? No, you have to be willing to defend your country. You have to be willing. Listen, I've never went to the military, but I'm inscripted in the draft. So tomorrow the United States needs me. I have to go. And I understand that as my duty. That's my duty. I think here, in my opinion, right, that's how I see it as an American. However, I wonder why some Germans feel like that. Like they don't have to protect their homeland.
And it's easy to find evidence of the decisive 1945 battle between victorious Soviet troops and Berlin's defeated defenders. Pillars on Museum Island are pockmarked with bullet holes. As it atoned for its Nazi past, Germany has projected a peaceful posture. Now the Bundeswehr is having to counter deep-rooted skepticism about its purpose. The job of Captain Mike Siebert is to convince young people that the army is an essential pillar of Germany's democracy. Yeah. He's taking a class on a tour of parliament.
As youth information also.
He's right, though. He's right. You cannot have a country if you cannot defend it. Listen, I would love to simply just have countries without the concept of force, but it's not like that. It's not possible. It's just not really possible.
Our job is political education in terms of security policy. And we are institutionally prohibited from any kind of recruitment. So if we get invited for a teacher and they're requesting a study trip, for example, it's good that the students get a chance to see that democracy is not abstract.
Opinion polls have consistently shown that most young Germans oppose conscription and are unwilling to fight. A contrast was provided by this predominantly middle-aged audience at a debate about choosing freedom, who were asked to stand if they take up arms to defend Germany. So, will the military reach the required numbers to counter the Russian threat? Sönke Neisel is a military historian.
There are definitely enough young German males who want to defend Germany. It's about 12%. And you could argue, well, this is not enough. But we don't need any size of an army of millions of soldiers. We are aiming for 260,000 and possibly unofficially up to 300,000. But this is enough.
In common with other nations,
is it enough to defend it? Because it seems like I'm sorry, guys, but you have to put this into perspective. If it is enough to say, okay, to defend it as today, I agree with him. Not even 250,000. With 200,000, you will lock it in. You don't have to go further than that. I think with 200,000, that's a realistic, logistical measure to just protect your country. However, in this scenario, that Russia goes completely nuts and said, you know what, I'm willing to just go World War II and just go and delete 20 million people on my own to just achieve my goals. That means Ukraine is gone. Romania is gone. Bulgaria is gone. A lot of these, Transylvania is gone. Transylvania, I think the name of the country. Hungary is gone, for sure. Belarus is taking over. Russia would annex Belarusian. Belarusia will simply just connect Kaliningrad with Belarusian and just get the other northern country in a matter of just months. Like there's a real scenario that these things can happen very fast. And if you're not ready, or you don't have the logistic at that moment, 200,000 might be a problem.
Which have donated equipment and ammunition to Ukraine, Germany's stocks are severely depleted. Lieutenant Colonel Marcel Bonert represents the German Armed Forces Association.
So ammunition is one of our biggest challenges, so we need much more. Our industry builds up capacities currently, so they will produce a lot more. But we are only able, I guess, to defend Europe with our partners. So only munitions of Germany will not be enough to really defend us.
As Russia triples its defense spending, drone warfare is one area of Germany's military-industrial complex that needs rapid growth. Stark, a small startup, has won a $300 million contract for its loitering suicide drone that's been tested on the front lines in Ukraine. Senior Vice President Josef Quanner-Vettvogel shows off the warhead that can take out a tank.
It's highly effective. It can destroy up to 800 millimeters of armored steel. It's battle-proven from beginning on, I would say, because we get quite a lot of feedback from soldiers that use our systems from the front line.
Interesting.
It's essential that you scale up your production right now, and it can't be done within some minutes or seconds. So it needs some time to ramp up production and to set up production sites, and we are on it to do this right now.
Germany's race to build its stockpile of weapons and ammunition is predicated on the fear that in the not-too-distant future, an emboldened Russia may test NATO's strength by attacking one of the former Soviet Baltic states.
Is it a threatening situation at the moment? Is it a dangerous situation at the moment? Yes, it is. Are we going into the war? No, we don't. Because we have understood this. We are preparing to defend ourselves, and therefore deterrence is key. Deterrence is coming back. Deterrence for NATO, deterrence for European countries. And if you have this deterrence, this is your insurance.
In Marienburg, the young grenadiers swore to faithfully serve the Federal Republic and to bravely defend the rights and freedom of the German people.
It's important for me to stand up for my country, because this country gives you so many possibilities, so many freedoms.
Brave words on such a big day, but their families are hoping that the vow of their sons and daughters won't be put to the test. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Malcolm Brabant in Marienburg.
Damn, man. Yeah, that's a real... Germany was the fourth largest supplier of the major arms in the world between... Okay, so that's... Some of you guys don't like that. I understand. Like, you guys want nothing to do with this. But again, I mean, the older I get, the more I accept certain things. Like conflict between countries is a reality. It has minimized in the last 200 years. However, it is a reality, and stronger countries are always going to try to get smaller countries. That's the reality. That's a reality that is not going to go away. And in certain empires, for example, Spain, the Spain Empire made that huge mistake when France invaded them. They were not prepared at all. They only had like 20,000 soldiers, even though they have colonies everywhere around the world. They were not prepared. Like, you know, and France has a huge army. And then that goes beyond that. That goes beyond, you know, the American Civil War, the Russian Civil War, First World War, you know, Second World War, like, you know, so on and so forth. It's the reality. Strong countries are gonna, because that's the nature of the human. The nature of the humans, mostly Europeans, I have to say, for some reason, is colonization. Is something that I would not say colonization. I'll say more. What's the word that I'm looking for? My goodness, conquest. Conquest is something that is innate in the human nature, and you're not gonna get rid of that. You're not gonna get rid of that. It's just people like to fight. There's always bad people. That's why we have prisons. Like, something that's gonna happen, and then you extend that into a more macro level. These are countries between countries. So I would love to know what you guys' opinions regarding this, and whether or not you guys disagree with my opinion regarding this. I know some of you guys don't want to be involved on this. For it seems like it's gonna happen. It's gonna be, Germany might be stepping up to the plate and getting involved. And modern warfare in the future. That's what I'm seeing here. Ukraine cannot continue this without themselves. If Western Europe don't want Russia to take Ukraine, I mean, the only option that I see here at the end, because Ukraine is going to keep losing soldiers, is simply what? Involvement of the Western European countries. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. We'll see you next one.